Welcome to video 9 of the Beginner Guitar Quick Start series. In this lesson, we're going to go over the remaining 2 chords that you need to know to play the song at the end of this series. These 2 chords are G major, open G major, and the open D major chord shapes. You're going to be using these all the time in your guitar career. Now, remember everything we learned in the last lesson about fretting hand technique. Relax, pretend like you're holding an apple, keep your thumb behind the fretboard on the back of the neck, come right down on the very tips of your fingers, relax there, and right behind the frets too. Remember all those things. All right, let's get going with a D major, an open D major. And if you look on the chord diagram, you're gonna see X's above the E and the A strings. So that's telling you to leave those notes out of this chord completely, right? Okay, let's get our first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. That's a good place to start. You're gonna get it right behind the fret, come right down on the very tip of your finger. 2nd finger is gonna grab the 2nd fret of the high E string, and your 3rd finger is going to grab the 3rd fret of the B string. Those are the 3 notes that you want to get. And this chord is a little bit harder just because you have to scrunch your fingers up in such a small area, and you don't want particularly this 3rd finger brushing up against this high E string or the G string right there. So take your pick and strum just through the top 4 strings. If your chord sounds like this, make sure that 3rd finger is coming right down on the tip. So again, go through the whole process of getting this chord committed to memory. Take it off all the way, put it on. If it takes you a while to get it there, that's fine. Take it off, put it on. Remember what it looks like. Remember what it feels like too. So that's your D major chord, your open D major chord. One tip that I want to give you right here, just as a little bonus, is if you haven't had your guitar set up by a professional, I would really recommend doing it. It's only 20 or 30 bucks. And if you're struggling, if your guitar is hard to play, it's totally worth it. It'll make your guitar easier to play, and you're practicing and learning a lot more enjoyable. All right, let's move on to the open G major chord. And this is probably the hardest chord of the Beginner Guitar Quick Start series. You'll see why. There's going to be 2 ways that I'm going to show you how to play this chord. One way uses the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers. The 2nd way uses the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. I really recommend this way using the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. I'll show you why later, but let's learn the actual shape first. Okay, a lot of beginners tend to learn a G using the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, this shape. So get your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, right behind the fret. 1st finger, 2nd fret of the A string, and your 3rd finger is going to come grab the 3rd fret of the high E string. In this open G chord, you can strum all 6 strings. So that's a way that a lot of beginners learn, but I would really recommend that you use your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. I'll show you how to do that right now. Put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. 2nd finger is going to grab the 2nd fret of the A string, and your pinky, your weak pinky, is going to grab the 3rd fret of the high E string. Same exact shape, different fingers used to make the chord. The reason I recommend using your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers to make this chord is because a G to a C is a really common change for the guitar. And check this out, if I make it with my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers and switch to a C, that's a huge movement that I have to make. If I make that G with my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers, I don't have to, the change isn't that big. It's a lot easier to get to that, and it's a lot faster too. So go through that same process for learning that G chord, put it on, take it off, remember what it looks like, what it feels like, all of that. Many guitar players struggle with changing chords smoothly. That's probably one of the biggest challenges for newer guitar players. And one of the reasons for that is they don't learn their chord shapes they're working on 100% before they start trying to switch between chords. So learn these chords to where you can go right to them on their own before trying to switch between like a G and a C chord, right? When you don't learn a chord really thoroughly, what you're going to do is compound the challenge of switching between chords, and that makes it really frustrating for you. So once you have 2 chord shapes down, for example, a G and a C, What you want to do is try to visualize the chord you're going to switch to before you actually need to go there, so you have a better chance of hitting it. So if I'm playing a G, I want to visualize that C before I actually need to move there. So in preparation for the next lesson, what you should do is just take 2 chords at a time. Don't try to switch it between all 4. So if you have just your A minor 7 and your C, just practice switching between those 2. Once you have those 2 down, you may want to practice just switching between your A minor 7 and your D. Remember to try and visualize the chord you're going to move to before you actually need to go there. So try to work on your chord transitions multiple times throughout the day so you can train your muscles and they have a better chance of remembering what's going on, switching between all these chords, right? Get ready for the next lesson because we're going to learn the song that I promised, like I said. If you have any questions on this G or D major chord, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you, or you can email me, Nate@guitarsystem.com. See you.